This morning we actually have a slightly different approach to life, and I think you're going to enjoy it, at least I hope you do. Alana Brogan, who's the Executive Director for our Healthcare District, and Beth, and I have to look at her. Debu? Yeah. From the County Health, are going to work with us on our priorities. They're part of the Health Action Program, and we have a Health Action Program right here in the district. So, Atlanta.
Let me just do a little technical thing here. So I'm just going to use the arrows to go up and down. Oh. Oh, there it is.
And we have to introduce her.
How do you do, Honor Speaker, how do you do? Is there anything that we can do for you? Thanks for coming here today. We are with you all the way. How do you do, Honor Speaker, how do you do?
So when I was filling out the papers to speak here today, I forgot to include my co-speaker here, Beth Dadko. Beth is critical to the health action effort at the county level. She's our backbone for our local chapter, and she contributes significantly to improving the health in our whole county. So we're going to share in this presentation. Health Action is started as a state initiative. Every county has a health action initiative. The idea is to be the healthiest county by 2020. I think they've extended that out, so there's, it was meant to build a little competition between the counties and the state. And I'm going to have Beth go over the first slide.
Yeah, thanks for having us this morning. So Health Action is this partnership of local organizations, leaders, individuals are all working to improve equity and health and well-being in Sonoma County. And it's really focusing on these three areas, and you guys have a framework in front of you today. So in the areas of long and healthy life, educational attainment, you'll see this on your framework for action, and a comfortable standard of living. And we generally talk about kind of the areas of health, education, and income. And Health Action was established back over 10 years ago now, 2007. And originally it focused on some initiatives to promote healthy eating and physical activity. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, have you heard of iWalk or iGrow? Those were some, Sebastopol really got into it. I know there's the Sebastopol Walks initiative here. So those were some of the original efforts of Health Action. And then back in about 2009, Health Action shifted to form these three committees that you see here. So there's a committee for healthcare improvement that's really worked on successfully on a number of issues. One is advanced care planning. There's an effort called My Care, My Plan that's really looking at how do you speak for yourself, or how do you make sure other people know what your wishes are when you can't speak for yourself in a medical situation. Opioid prescribing and cardiovascular heart health. There's a committee called Cradle to Career, and it's working on educational attainment, so things like making sure there can be access to preschool for every child so that they can start kindergarten ready to succeed. And there's also an economic wellness work group that's focusing on housing. So that's the overview. We're going to be pretty brief because we want to get you guys interacting a little bit. It's going to be an interactive program.
So there are chapters in every area of the county, and Gravenstein is one of the newest. We got approval, the Palm Drive Healthcare District and the hospitals, Sonoma West Medical Center, sponsored the formation of a chapter here in West County, and we called it Gravenstein. It seems appropriate for this area. And the chapters actually are the backbone of Health Action. That's where all of the action is happening all around the county, as well as a trickle down from the committees that Beth was talking about.
So in front of you, you have this framework for action. So this has been a recent kind of reaffirmation. You can see the date on there, I think is September. So the group really came together and reaffirmed what its priorities are, and this is the guiding kind of document for health action. And on the bottom there, this is the kind of the core, the foundation of the document is really the values. And we wanted to emphasize that equity is a real big foundational value, and I see, the work that you guys are doing really aligns well with this value, and also community engagement. And then as part of our commitment to community engagement, the Health Action chapter here in Gravenstein is trying to reach out to the community and do a number of listening sessions to understand what is your experience and your input about what the local priorities should be. So on the framework, we'll go over what the health action priorities are, but within those, they're so broad. What do you feel are the things that are most important to Sebastopol? And we want to get your input around that.
So the strategies, as I just pointed out, are right here on this framework. And they come under 3 headings. So a long and healthy life, and basically that's about promoting patient-centered, accessible healthcare, and promoting safe communities, so that can look like transportation. We did a listening session in Occidental that for them it was really important to have a stoplight at a particular intersection. So it's going to be defined differently in each community. Support behavioral health care, which is overall mental health care.
And then under educational attainment, this aligns with that cradle to career work group committee that you saw on the other side there in the organizational org chart thing. But the priority 1, supporting every child to enter kindergarten ready to succeed, includes, there's an effort looking at funding universal access to high quality preschool, actually creating a mechanism to generate funding for that. Priority 2 could include things that affect 3rd grade reading or high school graduation rates. And then priority 3 could include things like scholarship support, internship opportunities, mentoring, things that you, I think, are already doing too in the community.
And lastly, a comfortable standard of living. So Health Action right now is concentrating considerably on housing in the aftermath of the fire, and just in general, housing in Sonoma County is not what it needs to be. So that's a key focus. And then financial stability. And that Health Action is really still in the process of defining how they're going to be a part of that. So what we're going to have you do now is, if you turn around, on the back wall are each of the 8 priorities that we were just talking about. So patient-centered care, accessible health care. And one of the things the Gravenstein Health Action chapter is doing about that right now is that they're out taking blood pressures at farmers market and finding a lot of people with high blood pressure and making sure that they have a referral to a healthcare provider. Mental health is there, and then safe communities, and like I said, that can be defined in any way the community feels that it creates safety for them. And then over in the corner are the educational components, and then housing and financial stability. So you each have 3 dots in front of you. We'd like you to go put those dots on the sheet that is the most important to you. You can have 3 choices. So maybe mental health is a passion, maybe housing is a passion, and maybe patient-centered care is a passion. So you could pick those 3. So whatever your passion is, you have 3 of them. So go for it.
Can you put more than 1 sticker on 1 item?
No, just 1 sticker per item, and you get to choose 3.
Green basket. Trying to stack the deck.
We have to. Don't go back to your seats, just keep standing. Okay. Still have a couple people putting dots on. All right, so what we're going to do now in the few minutes that we have left is, it's obvious that mental health is first choice. We all need mental health care. And then housing would be next. And then creating success for every child in and out of school. And you could talk about that in different ways. So what we're going to have you do is, if your love is mental health, we're going to have 3 tables for mental health over here. So those 3 tables, if you want to talk about mental health, sit down at one of those 3 tables. If you want to talk about housing, sit here at one of these 2 tables. And if you want to talk about children in school, you can pick these 2 tables. So, school, housing, mental health. Okay, so mental health, gather together if there's not enough people to make 2 or 3 tables. Housing, school. If you guys wanted to, like there's 3 of you over here, you could come and join this table. Okay. So we have housing, great. Yeah, mental health probably needs 2 tables here. All right, so if I could have your attention again just for a minute. What we're going to have you do at the table is brainstorm. Think about maybe 10 years from now, and a reporter came to you and said, what did you do to make this wonderful mental health program? Think about what it's going to take to create some mental health initiatives, and what kind of initiatives in particular related to mental health. Housing. Maybe talk a little bit about what's going on and ideas you have for housing, affordable housing, housing for the homeless, whatever direction you want to go. But we're going to talk about what you think needs to happen.
I think this is housing and that's...
That's housing. Sorry, school, housing, and mental health. So you get the idea. We're going to have a scribe at each table to take notes about what you're saying. So we have about 10 minutes for you to go for it.
Solve all the problems in the world.
Okay, I would like to see psychiatry 5%. Absolutely. But anyhow, farmers market stands and resources for mental health.
I'd like a county review of how society that is so alternative forms and by process disappear. Prisons don't probably spend more money on mental health. It's really screwed up. Living wage, that's number one. Number two, social security, federal funds for people with disabilities has become progressively more difficult to get. The reality is our insurance mental health, they're diagnosed long-term and took 3 years to a lawyer to get $800 a month. They have to pay. Don't have a reason to get a process like that. But if there is an advocate for you when you have a person with your personal health issues, then the federal money is there. Oh, well, they do, but they're not fixed.
Following on what David said, I'm really through any of this, especially it's always money, it's priorities, but I think if we examine truly and honestly the economic influences both now and in the future, I want to see us move from reactive to proactive. Because it will save us trillions and trillions of dollars. One quick comment, I worked very closely with leaders and I learned that the major contributor to dealing with mental health is
Around the country, but I'm feeling that we need in our culture, we need more intergenerational connection. We all have groups and we're separated by years of music, even every age is separated socially. And I think that is, and I don't know what the solution is, but it's a real basic problem in our society. Somewhat immigration, the history of immigration is moving for work and everything, but also has to do with marketing, entertainment to different ages. Which is another gray area. I was in West Africa for 5 weeks and watching people in intergenerational communities from babies to grandparents all out in the street celebrating together something that they share. It's so rare.
Urban around the community, you then increase the value of the development.
Well, I was like thinking about just like God and like having people
Things that we,
young
I sort of grew up believing were good.
that is, but maybe
Preservation of open spaces and strength controls of people that have to pay too much. They're very
so I just think
gray areas, and the community is well
before they are very good. Or even just including mental health.
Because it's not a single family.
physical, you know, you get to a certain age, you have a physical exam before you go into school. And then decided to assess your mental health, and then as you, if you just take a job or you change your position, focus totally on your physical
How you define.
and not mental health.
Yeah, there's no question. We need more
That
buildings.
prevents that, but until it's acknowledged, because you can't see it. So much it's a broken arm.
Does our tax support,
That it's always going to be.
rather than rent control, if there was a tax rebate for landlords, that,
I agree with Judy, it all comes down to money.
build affordable housing, so that they can get a return on their investment.
Could be, I don't
It's
know.
just mushroomed since then, it's still in the closet, and we need to bring mental health out. Because you can't see it, you don't have a broken arm, you know, but it's still broken. Yeah, and that's education, where you have to educate the public, yes, because every family is affected in their line, if they don't say with addiction or mental schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever. And it all comes back down to money, so we're not putting them in jail to rehab them there, like it's too late, they've already had a problem, they're in jail. And that's where all the mentally ill are, and then there's some of them out on the streets.
In order to have schools and
Yeah, we need to educate the public, because again, every family is affected. I don't know.
general budget of train people, is no longer.
Is there
It's really expensive. Built a house recently, really expensive. Exactly. Cost me $30,000 permits. No, I'm sure it is. It doesn't go down.
No, that's not their job. Well, maybe Saturday will be a wake-up call when all these young people come out and fully supporting them with a March for Our Lives. Maybe they can turn the corner.
Okay, wind up.
Schools are educated, schools aren't the things you hear later. But it's
Okay, I need you to, if I could have your attention. Could, real quickly, describe for your group, just say one thing that was important to you at your table.
You're on, Gail.
So let's start here with schools.
Okay, one of our really good ideas was where organized preschool is not available, to have organized play groups that will provide support for families and parents, and sort of a way to teach the mothers how to be the first teacher.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, housing.
We're still discussing.
Mental health. Gail.
I have 2 pages of notes, but basically it came down to this. Our group was saying, without money, there is much that cannot be done that we all know needs to be done. So advocacy on a local, state, and national level for better funding so that there can be a national initiative. And the other thing that I think is worth commenting on is a discussion about the importance of multi-generational awareness, so that people who recognize problems early can intervene, but intervene on a more comprehensive level.
Thank you, Brian.
So we pretty quickly focused on the issue of substance abuse and marijuana when it comes to mental health care. There's not enough data out there. There's not enough understanding for the issues and the real problems it can cause. So we're looking, and generally mental health, we're talking about what are good models. The pre-Reagan era, people talked about, there's a lot of good funding back then, a lot of good programs. What are those models? And then also what states and what communities, local or statewide, are doing a good job with mental health, and how can we model that?
Housing.
Last but not least.
Oh, definitely a hot topic over here. We discussed very briefly a number of the problems confronting the building of new housing in Sonoma County in this area related to fees and permitting and zoning rules and lots of things that are make it difficult and are responsible for the market situation that we find ourselves in. We mentioned briefly rent control as an option. We mentioned some other options that are they may help solve a problem in one side of the equation, but they do not, over the long term, solve the problem of increasing supply. For concrete solutions, there weren't any slam dunks, except I can add just one parenthetically here, that we will, everybody in this room will have a chance to vote this fall. Is this out of bounds? Talk about a vote? We're going to have a chance to vote this fall on supporting affordable housing in the state of California. There's a bond measure that's on the ballot, $2 billion statewide, to help subsidize the development of affordable housing, and it's likely that there will be a measure on the Sonoma County ballot as well for developing affordable housing. So those are two affirmative things that can be done by all of us.
So just in winding up, thank you all very much for participating in this exercise. This is an example of our community engagement. The Gravenstein Health Action Chapter is alive and well. We are developing a few subcommittees. One is Cradle to Career, one is Mental Health, one is related to seniors and their care and memory care, etc. So if you have any interest in being a part of the Gravenstein Health Action Chapter and helping with any of those efforts, we would really love it. Thank you for having us here today.
Alana, we have one last task for you.
Okay.
The 5-star party.
In addition to our program, we also have a raffle. And before we started buying tickets this morning, the raffle prize was up to $90, so then we got that plus whatever we added to the pot this morning. And if you will draw the winning ticket out here, and by the way, the prize this morning is a bottle of 2015 Boleto Zin. Yeah, for me. So the last four, 8, 4, 7, 2.
Oh, it's so
Hey, Jim. All right. We are looking for the ace of spades.
Come on, Jim. You can do it.
Come on, Jim.
Well, I gotta tell my shoes.
I better turn it down so you
Get it, Jim.
Boy, he knew where he was going. Whoa! King of spades. Real close. So close. But he hit a bottom line. What? Life is pretty good.
Put that in the collection, Jim.
Almost done. Clean Governor Day. Nick Randall.
Randall? No way. Here, give him Mike. Mike.
An actual joke, written down.
Just a little bit late. Two old St. Patty's Day drunks were sitting in the bar. I pointed to two old drunks across the bar from us and told my friend Jerry, "That'll be us in 10 years." He turned to me and said, "That's a mirror, you dumb shit."